So let me get this straight. WWE is actually trying to convince us that LA Knight and John Cena have some deep, meaningful history together? Are you kidding me right now? After years of keeping Knight buried in the mid-card while Cena was off making movies, now they want to act like these two have been connected all along? The audacity of this company to rewrite history right in front of our faces is absolutely insane, and if you're not angry about this blatant manipulation, then you haven't been paying attention to what WWE has done to LA Knight's career. But here's what really happened on Raw this past Sunday, the 1st of December, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around because this interview revealed something that WWE absolutely does not want you to think about too deeply. The segment opened with LA Knight walking out to that massive pop he always gets, despite WWE's best efforts to cool him down. And can we just acknowledge something right now? LA Knight is the most organically over superstar WWE has had in years, and they've done everything possible to sabotage that momentum. Remember when he was red hot after SummerSlam 2023? What did they do? Threw him into meaningless matches and kept him away from meaningful storylines. But I digress. Knight grabbed the microphone with that signature intensity, and you could feel the electricity in the arena. The crowd was screaming his name, chanting "yeah," before he even opened his mouth. And then, out comes John Cena. Now, for those of you who've been living under a rock, Cena announced this is his farewell tour, his last run in WWE before he hangs up the boots for good. Emotional stuff, right? Wrong. Because what happened next exposed everything wrong with how WWE operates. Cena stood across from Knight, and instead of showing LA Knight the respect he deserves as one of the hottest acts in the company right now, the interview immediately pivoted to making this about John Cena's legacy. Of course it did. Because in WWE's eyes, nobody can ever be bigger than the machine they've already built. Nobody can shine brighter than the chosen ones from the past. Quick question for you guys, who do you think is more over with today's audience, LA Knight or John Cena in 2025? Drop your answers in the comments below, but here's where it gets interesting, and here's where WWE accidentally told the truth. Knight started talking about his journey, and he mentioned something that most casual fans probably missed. He talked about watching Cena rise to the top, about seeing what it took to become the guy in WWE. And then Knight said something that should send chills down your spine. I watched what this company did to make you, and I watched what this company refused to do for people like me. Boom. Did you catch that? Knight essentially called out the entire WWE system on live television, and they couldn't cut away because Cena was standing right there. The look on Cena's face was priceless. You could see him processing whether to defend the company or acknowledge the truth that everyone already knows. See, here's what WWE doesn't want you to remember. LA Knight has been grinding in this business for over 15 years. He's reinvented himself multiple times, perfected his craft, and when he finally got to WWE's main roster, he became an overnight sensation with the fans. But did WWE immediately push him to the moon like they did with their handpicked projects? No. They made him fight for every single opportunity, made him prove himself over and over again, while simultaneously pushing people with a fraction of his charisma straight to the top. Cena, to his credit, didn't try to sugarcoat it. He acknowledged that Knight has had to take the long road, but then he said something that perfectly encapsulates everything frustrating about WWE's approach to talent. He said, "Sometimes the long road makes the destination sweeter." Are you serious right now? That's corporate speak for "yeah, we held you down, but be grateful because it builds character." That's the same excuse they used for Kofi Kingston's 11-year journey to the WWE Championship. The same excuse they used for countless other wrestlers who should have been world champions years before WWE finally pulled the trigger. Here's another question for the comment section. How many years did WWE waste of LA Knight's prime? Let me know what you think. But let's get to the real meat of this interview, because what happened next is what's going to define the next few months of WWE programming. Cena looked Knight dead in the eyes and said, "You remind me of me, but hungrier." That statement alone should tell you everything you need to know about where this is heading. Knight didn't back down. He fired right back with, "I don't want to remind you of anything. I want to be the guy that people talk about the way they talk about you. And the only way I do that is by going through you." The crowd exploded. This is the money feud right here, and WWE knows it. But here's my problem, and you tell me if I'm wrong. Why does LA Knight need to go through John Cena to cement his legacy? Knight has already proven he can carry segments, get massive reactions, and move merchandise. Why does WWE still operate under this old school mentality that young stars need the rub from legends? The answer is simple: because WWE doesn't trust their own audience. They don't trust that you, the fans, can make someone a star on your own. They think they need to attach every rising star to a legend from the past to give them credibility, as if your reactions every single week don't already scream this guy is a star. Cena then brought up their history, and this is where WWE's revisionist timeline gets really creative. He mentioned that they crossed paths in developmental, that Knight was always someone who stood out even back then. Sure, that might be technically true, but let's not pretend they had some deep rivalry or meaningful storyline back then. This is WWE doing what they do best, creating history where there was none to justify their current booking decisions. The interview continued with both men trading verbal jabs, each one landing harder than the last. Knight called Cena the ghost of WWE's past, while Cena called Knight the potential of WWE's future. It was good television, I'll give them that. The promos were fire, the crowd was engaged, and you could feel the tension building. Question number 3. Do you think LA Knight can actually beat John Cena in a match, or will WWE do what they always do and protect the legend? Comments below. But then came the moment that has everyone talking. As the interview was wrapping up, Knight said something that perfectly summarizes the frustration that so many fans feel. He said, "John, with all due respect to everything you've accomplished, your time is done. This is my time. And I'm not asking for permission anymore." The place went nuclear. Because that's not just LA Knight talking to John Cena, that's LA Knight speaking for every wrestler who's been held back, every fan who's been told their favorites aren't ready, and every person who's watched WWE consistently choose what they want over what the audience wants. Cena's response? He smiled. That knowing smile that says I've heard this before from guys who thought they were ready. And that's what's going to make this feud so compelling, because we've seen Cena bury young talent with that same smile before. We've seen him shake hands with wrestlers backstage while beating them clean in the middle of the ring, effectively killing their momentum. The question is, will this time be different? Here's what we know for sure. John Cena has 16 world championships, and he's made it clear he wants that record-breaking 17th title before he retires. LA Knight has 0 world championships, and he's arguably the most over babyface on the roster right now. WWE is positioning this as a passing of the torch moment, but we've seen these moments before. We saw it with Nexus. We saw it with Bray Wyatt. We saw it with countless others where Cena won and the young star never recovered. The interview ended with both men standing face to face, neither backing down, and the crowd chanting "This is awesome." Raw went to commercial, but the message was clear: LA Knight versus John Cena is happening, and it's probably going to be at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. Final question: if Knight loses to Cena, will WWE have permanently damaged his momentum, or can he recover? I need your thoughts on this one. Look, I want to believe that WWE has learned from their mistakes. I want to believe that they'll do right by LA Knight and let him get the clean victory over Cena that will legitimize him as a main event player. But history tells me to be skeptical. History tells me that when push comes to shove, WWE will protect the legend at the expense of the future. This interview was entertaining, no doubt. Both guys delivered on the microphone, the crowd was electric, and it set up what could be an incredible feud. But underneath all the flash and the promos, there's a real concern about whether WWE will actually pull the trigger on LA Knight when it matters most. The ball is in WWE's court. They have a chance to create a new megastar, someone who can carry the company for the next decade. LA Knight has proven he has the charisma, the mixed skills, and the connection with the audience. Now WWE needs to prove they have the courage to fully commit to him, even if it means their golden boy from the past has to take the loss. Because if they mess this up, if they have Cena win and try to sell it as the veteran still has it, they'll kill LA Knight's momentum deader than dead. And when that happens, don't come crying when the ratings continue to decline and fans stop investing in new stars because they know WWE won't follow through anyway. This is WWE's test. This is LA Knight's moment. And this is our chance as fans to make our voices heard. So let me know in the comments, are you #Team Knight or #Team Cena? And more importantly, do you trust WWE to book this correctly? Drop your comments, smash that like button, subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for more real talk about wrestling, and let's see if WWE can finally get this right. Yeah!